Hello, I'm Aida Khan. Thank you for watching For the Love of Food. So how could we even think of having a food show in Pakistan without dedicating an entire episode to the food that represents all of Pakistan's spirit, the biryani. Yes, today we've decided to trace the roots of biryani, see how it makes its way into fast food locations and into high-end restaurants, and see how you can make biryani in your own home. There is no clear indication of where biryani originated from. It can be traced back to Persia and Arabia. Different influences have contributed to many variations of biryani in Pakistan. Whatever history it may have had, the biryani is definitely here to stay. It may not always be called biryani, but a combination of rice, spices and meat finds itself on the menus of many cuisines of the world. From Turkish pilaf to Iranian biryani, to Kabuli, to Malaysian biryani, Indonesian biryani, Sindhi biryani, or the idiyappam biryani from Sri Lanka, and the Kashmiri yakhni biryani. Even in Pakistan, the biryani is found in many different versions. Memani biryani is an extremely spicy biryani found in Karachi, as is the famous Sindhi biryani, which gets its unique flavor from the addition of dried plums and borrows the addition of potatoes from Bombay biryani. As biryani is conducive to cooking in large quantities, it's served on many charitable occasions to the poor. As it's a complete meal in itself, it's served at mazars cooked in large degs. Higher-end versions of biryani are served up as a symbol of prosperity at grand occasions such as weddings. So biryani can be found in many different forms and then different ways of making it. Today I'm going to show you a really quick and easy recipe that I absolutely love for biryani. It's not too spicy, it's not got too many masalas in it. You can actually taste the chicken and the rice and a hint of a few spices in it. And it's actually a really quick recipe. So I'm going to get started with that. I'm using a little bit of chicken for it. I'm a fan of the white meat. I'm going to add a little bit of oil for my base. I'm going to start with my chicken mixture. In my chicken, I'm going to throw in first just some yogurt as my oil heats up just a little bit. I'm going to take some yogurt. I'm going to just throw in some salt, a little bit of salt, a little bit of black pepper, a generous amount of garlic and ginger. This is garlic and ginger paste that I've mixed together. I'm throwing that in here as well. Mixing it all together. And to this, I'm going to add the hara masala, which is a good amount of coriander and mint and a few green chilies. There's no need to add any onions in this recipe as I add the fried onions later on in the rice. Just roughly chopping all of this up. My favorite part of this is that there's no need to be really neat with this because you can just roughly chop everything and it all tastes the same and it gets so cooked that the pieces don't come in your mouth. So I'm just going to take this, dump it in, shred it with my own hands as well, just a little bit. And taking maybe 2 or 3 green chilies. These are really spicy green chilies. I'm going to use only a couple. Again, roughly chopped. Dumping it in and throw in a couple, just large ones, which I'll throw into the pan. Not going to add it onto my mixture right now. So there you go. You have your nice hara masala. It almost looks like a nice hari chutney right now. Slightly chunky because I haven't really crushed all the bits yet, but trust me, it gets cooked and it'll be fine. Tasting it, it's perfect. That's perfect. Oh wow. So yeah, all you can have in there is garlic, ginger and lots of your hara masala. So that's the difference between me and my master chefs who I always am with. My workspace isn't all as spick and span, so I'm going to try to get some things out of the way that I'm done with. Get rid of this. All right, now my oil has heated up. I'm just going to throw in a little bit of sabut garam masala in it. So that's your cumin and your long and your black pepper and your badi elaichi, few cinnamon sticks. I'm actually going to pull out the cinnamon sticks later on because I don't like it when I'm eating to have the taste of wood in my mouth. First, what I'll do is I'll just throw in the chicken. I've got about a whole full chicken over here. Stirring it up just a little bit. So your chicken gets coated in your garam masala. Now garam masala is essentially the most important part, apart from garlic and ginger, of Pakistani food, I feel. It gives you the really nice smell that you can associate with Pakistani food and also adds a lot of rich flavor to your food. Now I'm just going to throw in my masala. Chicken doesn't take that long to cook. It's one of your quickest meats to cook, apart from fish. And so I'm just going to keep swishing it around. And you can have different kinds of biryanis. I mean, I like mine to be really, sometimes I like mine to be really light and not with too many spices. And this is almost a slant off the Mughlai biryani, which has all the cashews and dry fruit in it. I personally don't like eating dry fruit in my rice, but some people seem to enjoy that. And I guess there are occasions for that as well. I mean, sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. Take this moment to throw in one of the long hari mirchi that I had cut. Oh wow, the yogurt and the green peppers and even the mint in it is really, really giving it such a nice scent. I think biryani, hands down, is my favorite Pakistani thing to eat because it kind of brings together all the flavors that you expect out of Pakistani food and gives you a staple of rice with lots of meat and if you're lucky, some potatoes as well. Now I love potatoes in my biryani. In this recipe, I don't tend to throw in too many potatoes at all because the potatoes don't taste too good with this yogurt base and just the green masala in it. Your potatoes would taste good in a sauce, a base that would have more of a tomato to it and have a little bit of turmeric, and if you can mix all those spices together, that would be a good biryani with the potatoes. People make different kinds of biryani. You could have fish biryani, you could have shrimp biryani. I have trouble making fish biryani because you have to be really careful about the texture of the fish, otherwise it starts falling apart really quickly because you're steaming the rice with the meat and that ends up making the fish really, really tender and it starts falling apart. Another biryani that I absolutely love is Hyderabadi biryani, kache gosht ki biryani, which is actually, I mean by kacha gosht it means raw meat and it's actually raw meat that has been steamed with the rice. So right now we're making this chicken mixture and then putting it with the rice together. However, in the Hyderabadi biryani, the chicken will not have been cooked 100%. It would just be still a little raw so that once you put it with the rice, you steam it together and the chicken gets steamed, so that adds a different level of flavors to your meat. And I realized biryani is a cross-cultural dish. We've seen it in the Irani episode we had once where the Irani lady taught us how to make rice with layers of meat in it and that tasted so good. It looked really great and it tasted really good as well. I've also seen in the Arab world, you have a lot of biryanis as well, but they tend to be a lot more bland. I mean, and the rice that they use, we use a very fine, thin basmati rice, which is long grain. The Arab world and even the West end up using really thicker rice. And I don't know, we're just rice snobs here in Pakistan, I feel, and we tend to not like rice anywhere else apart from our own country. And I have to say that the basmati rice, the thin long grain basmati rice, definitely adds a different touch to the biryani overall. Well, let me go in for a bite to see if it's cooked or not. Almost cooked. No, don't worry, I didn't have raw chicken right now. It's almost cooked, it just could do with being a little more tender. At this point, I'm going to add a little more water or add a little bit of water to my curry, only because I don't want all the yogurt to get absorbed, because if I'm going to layer this with the rice, then I want there to be enough of a soup so that that gets absorbed by the rice. I can sense my mother cringing as she watches this
because she is going to criticize me on not having crushed the mint and the cilantro, but I really can't be bothered doing that. It tastes all the same and it's going to look all the same when it's on a plate. It's just a matter of adding an extra step. I'm going to go in and check if the sauce, what the sauce tastes like, because I might need to add a little more salt to it right now. That's about right. I tell you, you could just eat the chicken right now like this, because it's got such a great flavor of garlic and ginger. And that's the overwhelming taste in this. It's garlic, ginger, and lots of mint and cilantro. And the thing about garlic and ginger is you can't cook Pakistani food without adding garlic and ginger to it. Now on to the assembly part of the biryani, which is actually my favorite part. So you just take a large pot and add a little bit of oil to it. Just coat the pan with oil so your rice doesn't stick to it. So I've taken it off the heat, I've switched off the heat for my curry now, and I have just coated my pan with a little bit of oil. I'm going to coat it with some rice, throw in some rice. Now this rice has been pre-boiled, semi-boiled actually, so it's not 100% done. And all I added in it was a few cardamom sticks and some cinnamon. Taken the cardamom sticks out because, like I said, I don't like tasting that while I'm eating. Start scooping out my chicken and my sauce. Now you can make as many layers as you want. I have a feeling I'm just going to have enough to make one. And I'm trying to drench the rice in this curry. But on every layer, I'm going to take a little bit of fresh cilantro, put that in. Take a little bit of fried onions, throw that into. And now for the magical touch, we're going to take a little bit of this milk and add it to the saffron for the color. I hate using food coloring in any of my food. Saffron, on the other hand, makes your rice smell really good and look great too. Throwing that in onto my rice. So it has a little bit of a yellow tinge. Another layer of rice. Just pour curry, the paste, the chicken, a few sprigs of cilantro, just a few leaves. We're going to throw in a few green chilies chopped up, only because I want there to be a little more spice to it as well. Generous helping of the onions, which add a sweet taste to the biryani. Saffron mixture. Final layer of rice. Just going to cover it all up, because the more rice I have on top, the more it'll all steam together really, really well. Just going to cover it up, pour in my final sauce at the top. All right, now that the biryani has been assembled, I am going to just put it on the stove for about half an hour so that it all steams together, because remember, everything is cooked. You just need all the flavors to be steamed together and for the chicken and the rice to get married. Of the white rice mixed with the yellow rice and the yogurt-based rice and the yogurt-based sauce. It's a little hot, but wow, this has turned out to be so good. I have ended up surprising myself. The saffron has been mixed so well with the rice and the yogurt that it's one of the strongest scents that I can smell out of this rice.
biryani has evolved over the years in terms of its usage, symbolism, and presentation. Fast food chain of Student Biryani epitomizes this transition.
So how can you have an ode to biryani without actually visiting the pioneers who brought it all to Pakistan? We're standing here at the headquarters of Student Biryani in Karachi. The reason I call them headquarters is because they've taken a very simple business, which was almost sort of a takeaway food for students, and converted into this large empire and network of delivery vans and call centers. They have about 10 branches and are looking to even sell their franchises internationally. I'm going to stop right now at the pickup point and pick up biryani for myself, because it's too tempting to walk around this premises without having any biryani to myself. सुने भाई साहब जरा सी बिरयानी तो दे दें. लो. Wow. Thank you. Oh, excellent. It's piping hot. And you must have seen earlier this gentleman was putting the biryani into these boxes, and I've seen there's an actual formula to it too. You can only get 2 pieces of meat per box of biryani, and you get an X amount of potatoes, some white rice, some rice with masala, and it's all mixed together to give you that perfect flavor of biryani. Now, sorry about this, but I'm trying to talk over the spaces of business as usual over here in their kitchen. So that was their pickup point for takeaways. We also have a pickup point for eat-in customers right over here. And while you take a look at that, let me dig into my biryani and grab a bite. Oh, wow. You know what the phenomenal part is? That the recipe has not changed over the years. I mean, okay, I don't claim to be here in 1969 when they started, but few years after that, when I was eating this biryani as a kid, the recipe is exactly the same, and the taste is very, very nostalgic for me. So I know that they're getting a little distracted by our camera crew over here, and I don't really want to break this assembly line of workers. They seem to have a complete system going over here. I'm very proud of it, because I feel that this is the answer to McDonald's and Pizza Hut in Pakistan, and hopefully we'll be contributing this to the rest of the world. But I'm going to get back to my biryani and allow you to look around a little more.
While at Student Biryani, I was most intrigued and spoke to the owner of the place to find out how they run this incredibly well-oiled machinery.
So now we are meeting with Jazad Saab, whose father actually started Student Biryani. What was the concept behind Student Biryani? What made him start this place?
Well, the thing that made him start this business was basically economical food, quality economical food for the people, for students basically. That's why he named it Cafe Student.
And how have you managed to, I'm curious because I just tried some as well right now. The quality and the taste is exactly the same over all of these years. What is the secret to keeping that? And I know it's a secret, you wouldn't want to give it away on TV, but what is the exact, how do you manage to keep something like that so
all the recipes
consistent?
we are cooking here, they were all developed by my father, and we still have those recipes in our hands. It's not leaked out, it's within our family. We are still, today even, we are giving spices by ourselves.
Okay, so you mix the spices
Yeah,
yourself
recipe
and
mixes,
give them to your
yeah.
cooks yourself.
Yeah, that's right.
So your cooks and chefs don't know exactly
They don't know,
what goes into
they
the-
just have steps to cook the dishes, and they don't know what is inside the recipe.
So thank you so much for your time. It's been such a pleasure. I have always loved Student Biryani, but it was a different experience altogether, seeing how it was made and seeing how your team is running as well. Thank you so much for your time.
I hope our attempt to trace the roots of the biryani have been as informative to you as they have been delicious for me. Write to us at flf@tornews.tv for comments, and I'll catch you again next week.